There's a term known as caveat emptor. Well, I'm going to put it like this: driver emptor on the DeliverThat app. And I'll explain why on this segment of the Gig Geezer. If this is your first time checking out the Gig Geezer, or if you're a returning visitor of the Gig Geezer, thanks for coming by. And if you would not mind, hit that subscribe button, give my content a thumbs up, share my content among others, and I definitely welcome your comments in the section below. I said in the teaser, driver emptor, or the derivative of the actual Latin term caveat emptor, which means buyer beware. The reason for that is I actually came upon this realization a few hours ago this morning, which is Sunday, February 25th, 2024. And for whatever reason, I kept thinking about a DeliverThat payout that occurred on Friday, February 23rd. And it was based on a pair of catering opportunities that I completed back on last Tuesday, February 20, 2024. And I was going to use just the experience of those two delivery opportunities as a part of content for another Gig Geezer segment that I'd actually recorded and had not yet started to edit. Well, what I'm getting at is DeliverThat has actually two tipping formats. Two tipping formats, that's right. When I was onboarded onto the app back in June 2022, what I heard about was a tip pool. In fact, all of the segments of the Gig Geezer that I've talked about to this point has been based on the tip pool of whereby you do the order, and you know that, and when you look into the app, it'll show you under the section of gratuity, you'll see some verbiage that says how tips normally between $21 and $27. In fact, on this segment of the Gig Geezer, which is the last one that I mentioned about DeliverThat, in which I showed a dichotomy between the paying of the DeliverThat app and the Dlivrd app, I last mentioned it, in fact, about the guaranteed tip pool. Well, I'm here to tell you that while it's clear as day on the driver portal. In fact, the driver portal link is in the comment section below and in the description section below. I will go as far as to say it's in the small print, the small font, that is clear as day, along with a video that explains the tipping process or the compensation process for the DeliverThat app. So, I know I've talked for about 3 minutes into this segment of the Gig Geezer, and normally I would say this: if you like the content that's been provided in this segment of the Gig Geezer and any other segment, hit that subscribe button, give my content a thumbs up, share my content among others, and I definitely welcome your comments in the section below. As a review of DeliverThat's pay or compensation, there is a base compensation, if memory serves me correct, of like $7, and then there is the tip pool, but that is based on ezCater orders that have been dispersed, I should say, not dispersed. Disbursement means paying. Dispersed means that it had been sent out to DeliverThat, and those orders qualify for their tip pool, which means that you're guaranteed a certain range of a tip of usually a minimum of $21 and on average upwards of $27. Every now and then he does get above 27. But anyway, the other type of tipping involves where the customer tips up front, and then there's another type of tipping that is post delivery. Now, I have experienced both since this last video in which I mentioned DeliverThat. That's right, I've experienced both. And so on February 20, now The thing is about DeliverThat, if you're new to the channel, if you're just new to the concept about DeliverThat, is DeliverThat orders are sent out to the market, and first one hit it, first one gets it. Personally, I don't see many of these orders. Maybe I have, based on after what I've mentioned in that last video. To that point, I mentioned that I had seen a total of 11 DeliverThat orders over the previous 6 months or so. Well, since that video, I have completed 10 DeliverThat orders as opposed to 1 delivered order since February 1st, 2024. And by the way, just for comparison's sake, in that previous 6 month period, I had completed 15 delivered orders over the previous 6 months. Well, these 2 orders, when they came out, I had already completed an Instacart order, and it was slow in my market, the Columbia, South Carolina metropolitan area. And so when these 2 orders popped up, I'm like, okay, hey, here's a chance to make some money. I saw how much it was, and it looked like to me, based on my calculation, I should earn somewhere about $66. I was thinking $9 plus base, and then well, whatever, it was $9 plus base, and then I figured I'd guess on the mid number $24, so that would be about 33. So $66 is what I guessed I should be compensated on those two catering opportunities. The other reason for me grabbing them as well is because the pickup locations were like minutes apart. They're like right down the street from each other. And the drop-off locations were essentially right down the road from each other. We're talking about a matter of 5 minutes apart in the pickup and 5 minutes apart in the drop-off locations. So I figured, you hit that and then you keep going, because you just keep going. You're trying to make your money for the day. Well, come Friday was a disbursement date for DeliverThat Pay. And that's the other thing with the DeliverThat app. They make their disbursements for your earnings on Wednesdays and Fridays. Well, actually, how does it work? For what you do between Tuesday and Wednesday, and maybe Thursday, you'll see that disbursement on Friday. And then what you do Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, you're likely to see a disbursement on Wednesday. It's odd, but you're likely to see a disbursement of earnings on Wednesday and Friday. That's the bottom line with the DeliverThat app. So I'm anticipating to see somewhere about $64, somewhere in there, and I saw $41.10, and I'm like, I got shorted. Yeah, I'm thinking I got shorted. So I said DeliverThat an email. I said, hey, you're missing the tip pool on this one. Well, then I got a reply. It showed me a breakdown of the earnings, and it says, no, you got paid $41.10. That is accurate. They didn't say that, but that's what the email showed basically. So I happened to think about it again somehow early this morning. I'm not saying that it woke me up early this morning, but I'm thinking I'm going to contact these people again. But before I contact them again, I want to see what the DeliverThat policy is on it. So here's where you need to read everything that you can about these apps, because sometimes the fine print gets you, and that's what happened here. So I go into the link as I shared below, and there's the link to the video in the description section below. And it says clear as day, there's 2 types. And so these 2 orders that kind of fall into that other type of tipping were from Honey Baked Ham. It had HBH, Honey Baked Ham. That's what it means. And on these 2 particular orders, at least the first one, I saw a tip of $20. And I didn't think anything of it when I saw it that way. I thought it was different. And I was thinking, oh, well, maybe, they put 20 up front and then they'll kind of give you the difference of the tip pool. So that means maybe as much as $3, $4. Well, it didn't happen that way. That's what I got. I got the $20 tip on top of the $16.70 that comprised the base on that order. And that was to a customer that I have delivered multiple catering orders, but also have been leery of them because, number one, they're not known to be the best of tippers. And so $20 tip, I thought that was pretty much on the good side for those people. But with this particular order here, I didn't see the verbiage of where it says the tip pool, but I'm thinking in my past experience, at least the other 99% of the DeliverThat orders that I have completed on that app, again since June 2022. Oh, well, what happens is sometimes if you don't see the tip shows up, the guaranteed tip pool show up if you've done multiple orders, well, what happened is you'll actually see it come disbursement date. And they just happen to fail. They just happen to fail to included in or updated through the app. Well, yeah. When I read that, I'm like, oh shit. The Gig Geezer did a freebie. Gig Geezer performed the work of a fucking thirsty fool. An unknowing thirsty fool, but let's just say that Gig Geezer allowed one to get through on him. Now, I'm not entirely bent out of shape because I can't blame DeliverThat for my not paying attention to something like that. I can only blame myself for when I happen to see those orders pop up, I hit accept and I happen to get them. And I went, and somehow, as it turned out, it looked like it had set me up with two orders, and I failed to look at those orders, both orders closely, and I failed to ask any questions about it. And the other thing, and there's no excuse for me. I mean, I can mention one other thing that is a valid thing to think about, but there's no excuse for what I did. I should have been aware of the tipping policy as it is updated over time. My thing is that I've been very vocal about how DeliverThat basically pays in my market, the Columbia, South Carolina area, typically between $30 and $39, regardless of the order size. This particular order that I end up basically doing for free had a base of $9.32. It was $332.50 was the order size, and it was going to some type of medical office. I'm thinking that with the tip pool and what it should pay, somewhere in that $34 range, that would be somewhat of a plausible order to do. Okay, for the order size. The other order that I'd accepted along with this one, I'd anticipated a $23 tip pool amount. It actually paid $22.64. The order size is $315. So on that one, I earned $31.78, and so that kind of it's a plausible ratio. I typically look for opportunities of 10% or better of the order size. So again, I can't blame really DeliverThat, but what I can do is be mindful of order opportunities that come up like that. If I see it again, if I see zero tip set up, there's no pre-tip, don't try to chase the money post. Don't try to chase the money post delivery, because you're probably not going to get it. You're probably not going to get it. You're wasting your time. So if they're not going to tip, fuck them. That's what it amounts to. Take it from Geezer on that one. So I mentioned that again. Is this really going to break break my spirit? Is this really going to fuck me up for the entire week? No, I can't, because $22.64 as of this morning, February 25th, 2024, for the week accounts for at least what I missed at least what I felt that I missed on the tip pool, or the tipping of this order, accounted for 1.2% of the money that I've earned so far. And that amount is here as of this morning, before I set out to go about my day today. And it accounts for 0.22%, less than 0.25% of what I've earned so far this month. That's the amount that I've earned so far this month. So all I can do again is share information that may help you out. I've talked for about 15 minutes on this particular topic, and that's long enough. If you like the content that's been provided in this segment of the Gig Geezer and any other segment of the Gig Geezer, hit that subscribe button, give my content a thumbs up, share my content among others, and I definitely welcome your comments in the section below. I'm Inwood Lane. As always, may your grind and may your hustle continue.